what is the engine of what is the engine, the motor behind prayer? How does it work? Like, if you have a good prayer machine, like what are the parts? You take any machine, you know how to take it apart and put it back together, right? Like a gun, like they practice. You have to know how to take it apart, put it together. Exactly. Where's the mechanism? Where does it come from? How does it actually? I mean, there's a great deal to be discussed about prayer, but how do you have that's a great, I don't know, washing machine, because look at the engine, that's a great gun, because look at that mechanism there, look at the barrel, look at the thing, look at the, how does prayer, and this is not even my topic, I'm just, you're asking me about the prayers, the rabbis expressed that prayer, these are sentences, word after word after word, right? Is the quill of the heart. Prayer is the quill of the heart. Quill means like the pen. In other words, what's really happening is that your heart is activated, right? Prayer, authentic prayer, genuine, real prayer, is the service. It's a hard word, service. It sounds like service of the heart. It's reaching towards God with one's heart. That's really what it is. Now it comes out in different ways. It comes out, with the words we read. But the truth is that there's wordless emotions as well, right? And I'm not saying anything. I'm just feeling. Mm-hmm. That too is a prayer, right? That's one of the symbolisms of the shofar. The shofar specifically is a wordless prayer by design. And not only that, it's an expression using a tool, an item which comes from an animal. It's almost like this bestial, primitive cry. Right? That's what the shofar is. We actually we utilize it. Like, we have our own, we can pray, but we want to even we specifically want to use that as we reach out to God. So, I imagine, who here, it's a personal question, who here prayed on Rosh Hashanah? No judgments. If I would ask you, right, was there a moment of your prayer that you felt like it was very heartfelt, you were very connected, right? Would you say that you felt, looking back, like that was a highlight of your prayer experience for you individually? Of course, because that's real. Mm-hmm. That's real, right? So the concept here is that prayer is it's the heart is not so accessible all the time, right? It's a work to reach into your heart and get there. But it's significant for us to realize and to be aware. The Jewish concept of prayer is, I'm going to services. It's like 500 pages. And read this. Are you kidding? That is that's the most opposite thing of, genuine prayer. You're like, just read this and this and this and this and this and all day, every day, 3 times a day. here's your mission, here, like, what is this, like a speed reading contest, Like, what's this about? What is that? And then you get to the synagogue and people are like swaying. What is it like, they call it shuckling. That's how it's called in Yiddish, shuckle. So you walk in there, people are screaming and things, reading and like swaying. What is this, like a competitive shuckling competition? One guy says, "Ooh, look at that guy! He did 360." Like, oh, he's winning the prayer Olympic. What's really happening in the prayers? What's really happening is the deep personal access, individually, right, of our hearts and our feelings. That's it. And when someone gets to, when someone does that, they're in. Like they're connected. In other words, it's not like, if you can do that, that's a human experience. It's a human experience. You don't have to be a big rabbi to pray. You don't have to be a big rabbi to pray. You don't have to be Jewish to pray. There's one God. He's the God of the whole universe, all humanity. You're like, we don't say, hey, that's our God. Here, you take Jesus. God forbid to say such a thing. Like, Jesus. I mean, I don't want to insult. I don't want to be politically incorrect. We say, I'm on camera here. We say, let's just say, we reject the divinity of Jesus. All right, let's just say it simply. We don't believe in Jesus. To the contrary, to tell someone to believe in Jesus, that's like idolatry. Like, Jesus is a man. Get out of here. It's like one God, omnipotent, omniscient, divine, all-powerful, almighty God. There it is. Always was and is and will be, like we said on Rosh Hashanah. Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, Hashem Yimach. So we want all nations to pray to Him. We don't want to pray to any other cheap, fake, imitation God. Pray to God. In fact, King Shlomo, when the temple here was inaugurated, the big party, it's a story in the book of Kings. When King Solomon inaugurated the temple, it's a big, big party for days, many days, here in Jerusalem. And look at chapter 8 in the book of Kings, and he's big, like a prayer, an eloquent speech. He's speaking to God, and he says, famously, this will be a house. This will be a house for all people. And all of humanity will come here and come to this place and pray here and speak to you, God. In any case, so anyone can pray to God. It's just important for us to know, because sometimes we feel small or, kind of like not so holy, not so special. And I think that this is all prompted by your question. I think that when we're genuine with ourselves and genuine with God, something special happens. You ever go to one of those like support groups, like therapy meetings? Like some people are like this is weird, this is like awkward, get me out of here. But the truth is, often those